Hello and welcome to the ABS Wednesday webinar. We appreciate you joining us and spending some time on your Wednesday afternoon to learn more about starting a medical billing business. We know everybody's time is valuable, and we certainly do appreciate you spending a little bit of it with us. Today we have a fun webinar. Today is a live question and answer session with me and a special co-host that I'll introduce here in a few minutes. We've got a lot of folks logging on and getting into the webinar, and so we're going to give just a few minutes for everybody to get logged in and get comfortable and get the audio settings dialed in and everything. For those of you who have joined already, if you can make your way to the control panel with Zoom, you should be able to find a Q&A button. And if you're able to find that, I'd love to hear from you. And at the very least, just let me know that the audio is working and everything's coming through fine and you can see the slides. And if any of you are having any trouble hearing what I'm saying or seeing the slides, please drop a note in that Q&A panel. And as soon as we confirm that my microphone is actually on and everything is coming through okay, we will move on. All right, Carla, thank you so much. Looking forward to the next hour with you as well. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. And glad to have you joining us from Orange County. I imagine you probably have some fantastic weather out there. Thanks for joining us. Great, Marianne. Thank you for saying hello. Latanya, no problem that you missed last week's webinar. You can actually find those on our YouTube channel. So you can go to our main website and you can find the link to our YouTube. For those of you who are still logging in, and I do see we still have some folks jumping in here to the webinar, if you can find your way to the Q&A button in your Zoom controls, you can ask us a question, you can give us a comment. And for those of you who haven't already said hello, if you'd like to say hi, just type it right into the Q&A box and hit send and we'll see it. And if you'd like to introduce yourself and where you are logging in from, we'd love to know where everybody is. So far, I know at least one person is logging in from the West Coast. And Scott, good to have you. And for the rest of you, hi, Mohammed. Good to have you saying hello. Thanks for joining us. And we probably have most everybody logged into the system and joined in. Alberta, Canada. Layla, nice to have you. Florida. Marianne, good to have you dialing in from the East Coast. We've got people all over the place. Up north, out west, far east. All right. Appreciate everybody joining. And Carla, sunny Arizona, but originally from Alberta, Canada. Wow, we've got folks spread out everywhere. We're actually based here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market here in Texas. So I think we're representing just about every part of the U.S. right now. Mohammed from Corona, California. Thanks for putting that into the chat. It looks like everything is working properly. So why don't we jump into the webinar? First, let me introduce myself. My name is Jason Pettit. I am the Chief Growth Officer here at American Business Systems. What in the world is a Chief Growth Officer? Well, ideally, if you have a company, you want the company to continue growing over time. And I do all sorts of things with American Business Systems to help make sure that we're profitable and that we're growing and that we're doing the right thing for our owners, helping them grow their businesses as well. One quick thing about us, American Business Systems. Oh, hi, friends. Appreciate you joining us. Thanks for saying hello. We have been helping people start successful medical billing businesses for 31 years. In January, we're going to celebrate our 32nd anniversary. I've been with the company for 17 of those years. So we've been doing this a very, very long time. Actually, next month, I'll celebrate my 18th anniversary with American Business Systems. A little bit about the company. American Business Systems has all kinds of accolades, and we've been honored with lots of different awards and things like that. One that we're very proud of is for the last 5 years in a row, we have been on the Franchise Dictionary Top 100 Game Changers. Franchise Dictionary is a really cool publication. If you're looking into franchises, I would highly recommend picking it up. It's super easy. It's totally free. You can go to franchisedictionary.com and they will deliver that magazine in electronic format directly to your inbox every month. Again, it's totally free. We are partnered with a company called FranServe, and Franchise Dictionary is a sister company. And we're very proud to be affiliated with them and would definitely recommend checking out the magazine. And for the last 5 years, we've gotten put in the top 100 game changers. Like I said, we've been helping people start successful businesses like this, helping people break into the medical billing industry, providing claims filing solutions to private practice physicians. We have a business package that includes everything that you need to start a business like this. You can see a representation of the different services that our owners can offer. We don't actually ship out a big giant box for each of these services. It's just a visualization. But our owners offer 10 different services. We have live training that's included with your investment. Our training comes with a 30-day unconditional 100% money back guarantee. We're very serious about making sure that each and every one of you, when you decide to invest with us, that this is the right investment, the right industry, and that we're the right partner to help you grow your business. And if you go through training and you decide within 30 days of your first training date that this is not the right business for you, you let us know and we send back the entire investment. We also have lifetime support. We've got a wonderful support team that's going to be right by your side to make sure you're successful and help with each and everything that you need as you're growing your business. We've got lots of ways to help you research the opportunity, research American business systems, and research the industry. And a great place to start is our free ebook, The 5 Secrets to Medical Billing Success. And you can get that for free instantly by going to our main website. You can see down in the bottom right corner of the slide there, absystems.com is our main site. Right at the top right corner of our website on the main page, you'll see the download our 5 Secrets to Success ebook button. Click that, put in your email address, and that will deliver right to your inbox. It's a great place to start. We've had a few additional folks join us, so I just want to point out that you can find the Q&A button in your Zoom controls. This is going to be a live Q&A. We're going to spend almost an hour answering any and every question that you throw at us. And so you can go ahead and start putting questions into the Q&A panel right now, and we'll let those queue up and get ready to answer them as soon as we go live here in just a couple of minutes. Before we go live, I'd like to talk a little bit about my co-host today. Our CEO, Adam Phillips, and my best friend from grade school is going to be joining us today. Adam has co-written a book called 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. It's a great book. Our owners use that book as a marketing piece. And we can actually give you a copy of the ebook version if you would like to reach out to your rep. They'll get that link to you. So Adam co-wrote that book with Dr. Vicki Rackner. She's on our advisory board, and we do a lot of strategic planning with her. It's a great book. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Adam's also written a bunch of articles. A lot of these are about a topic that is on everybody's mind right now, artificial intelligence. And you can find these articles on Billing and Coding Magazine, and that's bcadvantage.com. And so if you'd like a copy of any of these articles, you can go directly to BC Advantage Magazine and check them out. Great articles. I'm sure that we'll have questions about AI when we go live here in a second, answering questions, but lots of great articles there. So Adam, published author, My best friend and CEO of American Business Systems. I'd like to introduce you right now. And if we had microphones on, I'd ask for a round of applause, but we don't have that. So, Adam, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason. Pleasure to be on. Got a lot of great stuff to talk about today, so happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, we've had even more people join as I've been talking. So I want to remind everyone again, we're going to be taking questions live. And in order to get your question to us, I joked about having microphones on. We definitely don't want to allow everybody's microphones to be on because that would be absolute chaos. So instead, we take these questions over the Q&A messaging system built into Zoom. So if you can find the Q&A button in your Zoom controls, you can start typing your questions in right now, and we are going to go live and start answering them. So the time is now. Go ahead and find the panel, click on the Q&A button, and we'll start taking questions straight away.
Yeah, before we kick off with the questions coming in, I would like to go ahead and just talk a little bit about my articles that I've written for BC Magazine, like you just mentioned. There are articles ranging from, everything on talking about AI, as you can see that title right there, information on the rise in insurance denials, the increase in physician burnout, especially with regard to administration and paperwork. They're really getting tired of having to deal with all that stuff, especially in the private practices where we focus. So they're more and more they're realizing, what, I really need to have somebody focusing on my billing and helping me, make sure that I'm doing it right and getting paid what I deserve and all that. But I am working on a new article as well that I'm going to be submitting soon. The title is Starting a Medical Billing Business, a Rewarding Venture for the Dedicated Entrepreneur. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to start your own medical billing business. And you don't have to give us a dime. So look out for that article. We can help you do that. Now, there's a lot of work involved if you're doing this on your own. And that's kind of where we come in. We've taken care of a lot of the little details that are required when you start and run your own business. A lot of stuff we've taken care of for you. So it's much more of a, ready to go out of the box kind of thing. But I'll give you a step-by-step guide on how to do it yourself if you want.
Yeah, awesome. Great articles. And we certainly appreciate all the information you push out there for the masses, Adam. We've got some questions starting to trickle into the Q&A section. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first question comes from Francine Glide. I think I'm saying that correctly, from Massachusetts. And they're asking—
Or maybe it's Victoria. I don't know.
Possibly. Maybe it's reversed. If we got that wrong, Francine Glide or Victoria, please send another follow-up question letting us know if we pronounced it right and if we got the name right. But they're asking, do you provide the reimbursement rate for the state we're in, Massachusetts, also for different private insurance? So that is a much more complex thing to answer in a simple sort of one word. Each insurance company has reimbursement rates specific to procedures. So there's something called a procedure code. People will say CPT code, and that stands for Current Procedural Terminology. That's a universal database of codes. Like, for example, if you have a sinus infection that you're treated for, there's a code for that. And that code goes on to the medical claim. The insurance company reimburses the doctor based on the contract rate that doctor has with the insurance company for that specific procedure. So it's not exactly just like, oh, you're reimbursed 1%. It's every procedure is going to have a different reimbursement depending on which doctor, which insurance coverage, which insurance company, and also how the doctors code the procedures. So it's far, far more complex than just having a single reimbursement rate. Not sure. Oh, Francine Glide, we are saying that properly. That is the correct name. Thanks for clarifying that, Francine Glide. And if we didn't get that question correct, if you were asking about something different and I just missed the whole point of your question, please do provide a follow-up question. We'd be happy to go into more detail. But there's no simple answer. Reimbursement rates are all over the map. One of the things that our owners help these doctors do is get the maximum reimbursement for each procedure they bill for. And that is also something that we're really proud to provide, and we can get some really awesome results to help the doctor increase their reimbursements. Did I hit that all correctly? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It sounds like she may be in the industry. I'm guessing maybe a biller already and has some questions about that. But the beauty of the software platforms that we use, the cloud-based platforms, a lot of this stuff is kind of figured out for you in a way. Like all of the public and private insurance companies are already registered with the platforms that we have, and so it makes connecting to these different systems and things a lot easier. So yeah, if you need a follow-up question, Francine, feel free to do that. We've got one here from Layla. Question: since potential investors would set their own business, what would their status be regarding ABS? Shareholders or simple business owners? Thank you. So what we do is very similar to a traditional franchise in terms of our support. We give you access to all the software platforms. You get several thousand, marketing pieces. You get the initial training. Most importantly, you get lifetime support from us on any kind of marketing or technical issue that you might have. But how we're different is we actually help you set up your own independent entity. And this can be done any way that you want to. I would say probably the majority set up their company as an LLC, and we show you how to do this in the training. We walk you through it. We help you, brainstorm on what to name your business. We help you pick out your domain name. You actually do get a website template that we give you for free. So what you become is a truly independent business owner. So you own the business outright. You do not pay us any fees after the initial investment. You don't pay any royalty fees. There's also no territorial restrictions, so you can market to any providers anywhere in the United States. And it really truly is your business. You're not in business, by yourself. You've got a whole team of people behind you helping guide you every step of the way. Hopefully that answers that.
Right. I think so. Next question is from Mohammed asking, can you walk us through a typical onboarding process for a new client? Yeah, absolutely. Mohammed, I would say that is one of the strong values of partnering with a company like American Business Systems. If you've never gone through an onboarding with a new medical billing client, a doctor's office, there's a lot to it. We have an onboarding checklist that you'll follow, and our support team will help with every aspect of onboarding your client. And there's a lot that goes into it. One of the things that is going to happen is the doctor's office is going to have a process for submitting their insurance claims to their biller to be reviewed and filed. So we're going to help dial that in and make sure that process is streamlined. It oftentimes is not. So we have to encourage the physician's office to make some small changes so that everything goes through, quickly and efficiently. Also, the doctor has the option to use the software of one of our software partners. That's a big part of our business model. In fact, most doctors that do a demo of our system do end up using at least the practice management portion. So there's also an onboarding component with the software, and we have a dedicated onboarding implementation team for the software. They do everything. They help the physician get everything set up, configured properly. They help everyone on the doctor's staff with their logins and passwords, and they do training for the doctor and their staff to make sure everybody knows how to use the system properly. It's not incredibly complex, but it is really important that implementations and onboarding go smoothly. And we're super serious about making sure that happens, and we have great teams to do it. So that's kind of a high level overview. If you had anything more specific, that you wanted with the onboarding process. Feel free to ask a follow-up question. But thank you, Mohammed. Great question.
Yeah, good stuff. I was wondering how long it would take someone to ask a question about AI. It took about 14 minutes. So Marie Ann is asking, what is the outlook for medical billing as a franchisee with the advent of AI? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So one of the articles I recently wrote for BC Magazine addresses that specifically. And we actually have, find out who your ABS rep is that you're working with, and they can send you, we have a handful of articles that you can read about AI and how it's affecting the healthcare industry, mostly in good ways, but in other ways, the jury is still out. The short answer is it's not going to take over the human component. People that utilize software and tools that have AI built in, they are going to be more efficient. They are going to be more in demand. So luckily, all of our platforms that we allow you to use, they all have AI tools built in to make you more efficient, make you stand out from the crowd. But there's always, as far as we can see, there will still be a human element that needs to finalize and approve a lot of these billing procedures and codes and different things that AI is trying to do. So ask your ABS rep. We can send you some links to some articles. It's not going to take over anytime in I don't think in a long time. I don't think it can do it because there's so much nuance in regards to reading doctors' handwriting and figuring out different codes and modifier codes. And anyway, it's going to take a minute. So there's as far as we can see, there's still going to be humans involved, but it definitely will behoove you to embrace AI and learn about it as much as you can and how it works in this market.
I'll add on to that one because AI is probably the most frequent topic and question on calls and webinars. Anytime we're talking with folks that are interested in starting a business like this, AI is kind of the topic of the day. The way that I sometimes explain this is AI is good for a lot of stuff. I use AI all the time. I had jury duty on Monday, and I took the email from the county that I got for jury duty. I pasted that into ChatGPT, and I said, tell me the most efficient way for me to get there on time. Where do I park, etc. And it gave me like a step-by-step plan, where to park, what app to download to reserve my parking in advance. And it was seamless. I got there 15 minutes early. Everything was perfect. AI is really good at that type of thing. But when things are more nuanced, AI can struggle. Think about an industry that is kind of similar. Think about the accounting and tax prep industry. So AI can do a lot of great stuff. It can review your tax returns. It can give you advice and things like that. But a really good tax prep professional can provide nuance on getting the best possible tax return filed. And I think it's really difficult for AI to understand your personal situation and know the questions to ask so that you're going to get the best possible results. Can it do a simple tax return and sort of walk you through the steps and everything? Sure. But you really want a professional to analyze what you're doing, get to know your own personal circumstances so that person can recommend the best strategy, not just with that tax return, but maybe making some adjustments overall to your whole financial picture so that the following years you get better and better results with your tax returns. It's the same thing with medical billing. It requires a professional to get to know the medical practice so that unique situation is taken into consideration when you're getting the structure in place to file these claims. You got somebody dedicated, an actual person dedicated to making sure that happens in a streamlined and high quality way. And we don't see AI being able to do that for in the the near term, and it would be pretty surprising. The other thing is um, AI. Everybody understands basically how AI works, but you better believe that the insurance companies understand AI a lot better than we do. They know that doctors and medical billing companies and office managers of medical practices are going to use any and every tool to get the maximum reimbursement and to lower their rejection rates. So the insurance companies, do you think they're just going to sit back and let AI just demolish their profits by dramatically reducing rejection rates and increasing reimbursement rates? And those giant insurance conglomerates are just going to see their revenue go down quarter after quarter? I can confidently answer that that is not going to happen. The insurance companies, what they'll do is the same thing that they've always done. They will change the game often. That's how they win, is they constantly change the rules, they rewrite the rules, they change the submission policies. They're always going to stay in front of the latest and greatest, so that it's difficult to get these kinds of results. So that's more of what we see happening, is just the game that the insurance plays will change as AI gets better and better at this sort of thing. But great topic, and of course we're fine taking additional questions about AI. Thank you for your question, Marianne. We appreciate it. We got a bunch of questions in here, so maybe I should not maybe I should not ramble quite so much. Okay, you got the next one.
Yeah, so Scott was asking, what's the average percentage fee your licensees typically charge for their clients? Great question. I would say in most scenarios, our business owners are charging their doctor clients a percentage of what is ultimately collected from the insurance companies. And I clarify that because that's actually a selling point for you. So you can actually say to a doctor, look, my team, we get paid, based off what you ultimately get paid. So we're going to really go to bat for you and make sure that these claims are done right, filed properly, followed up on properly, et cetera, et cetera. So the percentage they're charging right now can be anywhere in the range of around 5 to 9% typically is what we see. But that's another thing that our support team is good at, is helping you put together proposals that make sense for everyone. So every single potential client that you run across, we're going to help you do an analysis of their practice, figure out what's going on, figure out where the issues are. We're going to help you put together a proposal that's going to offer solutions to the problems that you find. We actually have about a dozen different services that you can offer. So it's a lot more than just billing alone. But ultimately, we're going to tell you, look, we feel like you should offer this particular practice, the billing service, and maybe, credentialing, and, whatever, something else they might need. And we're going to recommend that you charge this doctor, 6%. So we're going to tell you exactly what we feel that you should offer them price wise. But ultimately, you're the business owner. This is your business. You have final say. You can charge more than that. You can charge less than that. It's completely up to you, but we're going to help you every single time. We're going to help you.
We've had owners charge as much as 10% as a billing rate. Very unique situations. But most of the time, the billing rate that our owner charges is going to be directly because of the amount of revenue, the average revenue in the medical practice. Just from a very high level, really low revenue offices are going to have a higher percentage rate, because otherwise you don't make enough money to justify filing the claims and offering the service. If you're going to make $500 a month, why in the world would you spend your time filing the claims? And then conversely, really, really high revenue offices like specialty medicine offices and group practices and things like that, you can't charge 10% because it'd be like $100,000 a month that you'd be making. And obviously the doctor's going to have a problem paying you 6 figures a month. So the rate's going to be lower in really large practices like that. Great question, Scott. We appreciate it. It looks like Francine Glide has a follow-up to the original question. I'll just touch on this really quickly. Francine Glide is saying they're looking more to billing not doctor's offices, but home care and home health. So I think that's why they're asking about the reimbursement rates, because that would be mostly Medicare and Medicaid. And yes, we do give guidance on that. And obviously, that is built into our system. You didn't have a specific question, Francine Glide, but you are able to do that type of billing with our system. I would recommend circling back with your ABS rep and digging into more detail on exactly what you're trying to do so we can make sure and give you a better answer there. And unfortunately, we can't unmute the microphones on the Zoom. Sorry about that.
So I don't know if you and I want to ping pong back and forth here with Franz, but
Yeah.
Franz asked us a whole list of questions, which are great. Love it. So I can just start. Franz, the first question is, what's the average number of medical practices your new members sign on as clients within their first year of starting? Well, you have to understand that a lot of people are able to jump into this full time, full speed, right out of training. Training will take you a couple of weeks. By the way, it's 10 90-minute modules that are done online with a live instructor. So depending on your training schedule, it could take you maybe 2 or 3 weeks to graduate that training. But if you hit the ground running and you're able to spend, full time on this business, most of our owners will see a client roughly 60, 90 days after training. That's kind of the average. There are a lot of people that have another job. They can't quit right away. They do have to kind of start it as a side hustle. And so it will take you a little bit longer to get your name out there. You really have to understand that it does take some work to kind of get the momentum going, as far as the marketing and, meeting people and telling them who you are and what you do. So it could take you 90 days. It may even take you a little bit longer if you're doing it part-time to get your first client. I would say, once you get that first client, it really starts to get a lot easier. A lot of our business owners after their first or second client will start getting referrals from those existing clients, and they can be doctors
Right.
anywhere in the United States. I would say a first year of running the business full time, I would say on average maybe 2 to 4 clients in the first year, somewhere around there. And I say client, that's not necessarily talking about a single, solo medical provider in one practice. I mean, you could have one client that's actually a small group of doctors, 3 or 4 doctors in that one client. So it could
Right.
potentially be a lot more than just 3 doctors. You want to take the next one?
Yeah. The next question from Franz is about revenue. What average revenue do your members bill at 1 year after starting? So let's lay the groundwork for this answer, because I think what you're asking, Franz, is how much money do our owners make when they start their businesses and start getting clients? So a general rule of thumb is when you get a single physician client, one doctor, that doctor should produce between 30,000 to 60,000 a year in income for your business. Now, what does that mean, and where does the money come from, and why is there such a large spread? Well, like Adam just said, our owners charge a percentage of revenue. So the higher the revenue in the medical practice of your client, generally speaking, the more income you're going to make on that client. In other words, you're going to make more income processing claims for a cardiologist versus a chiropractor, because the revenue levels of those offices are wildly different. So, by the way, when you're doing your marketing, guess what kinds of clients we're going to teach you to market to? Cardiologists and specialty medicine doctors. We teach you exactly how to do it. So, generally speaking, around $30,000 a year in income for a smaller client, smaller revenue client, but it could be upwards of $50,000 to $60,000 a year for a specialty medicine physician. Now, like Adam said, you can get into group practices, and obviously it's multiples of those numbers. There's all kinds of other things, types of clients, durable medical equipment, laboratories, pharmacies. So the income can be all over the map, but as a general rule of thumb, 30 to 60K per client, depending on the revenue of that client. And then to qualify, 1 year after starting, Adam had mentioned a moment ago, 2 to 4 clients in year one is fairly typical with us. So you'd take that 30 to 60,000 per client and multiply that by 2 to 4 clients in year one. So there's a pretty wide swing in what you might make depending on what kinds of clients you're getting and how many you get in your first year.
Yeah, I mean, you could sign up one doctor, like a solo doctor. You would see a return on your investment in about a year with just one doctor. So pretty good return. There's not a lot of opportunities in this very low investment range that can say that. So return in less than a year or about a year.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me add one more thing to that. This is a unique business because it's recurring revenue. So
mm,
when you get a client, you don't have to go out the next month and your clients don't churn over and you're constantly beating the bushes for new clients.
right.
Those doctors sign at least a 1 year agreement with you and they stick with you. Most of
Yeah.
the time, these doctors increase their revenue dramatically, usually 20 to 30%. So they don't leave. So you have that 30 to 60K per year per client in perpetuity. I mean, obviously not forever because things change and doctors retire and that kind of a thing. But you have years and years and years of very reliable income in this recurring income model. Lots of franchise models. You are trying to generate new business and new clients every month. We don't have that. It's a really nice business when you grow it. You've got a book of business that you can sell. It's reliable income. You can budget off of it. It's a really nice industry in that regard.
Yep, absolutely. Next question is, should we need to have more than one platform? Why and when would we need more than one? Well, you don't need more than one, but what we have done is, on our materials, on our website that you'll read about, we have a white label brand that we call iClaim. That's what we call our platform, but it's a white labeling. And we, behind the scenes, we actually have relationships with 3 different software platforms, and they have various features and things that they can do for certain specialties better than others. And, so you have a lot of options and a lot of flexibility in what you are, what you're offering for any particular scenario. So we're going to help you navigate that. And then I think there's some other questions that are related to software. Yeah, I just mentioned that. So let me just keep going. So
Yeah.
I'm going to skip that next one. And the next one related to software is, do we have to use ABS software partners? And that's where I was going with this. The answer is no. We do get a small residual back from our software partners when you sign up clients. So, we would love for you to use our platforms. And honestly, if you look at the statistics, if you look at the numbers, the reduced denial rate, like getting them way lower than, less than 2% rejections, getting them paid in an average of 7 to 10 days from most insurance companies. I mean, we can really deliver results if the doctors are using our fully integrated platforms. But you may take a doctor through the entire sales process, the practice analysis, demos, proposal. You make it all the way to the end, and the doctor says, you know what? It looks great. I want to do business. I want you to do my billing for me, but I just don't want to change software. Can you use what I've got? And if you want the business, the answer is yes. You tell them, look, give us a login. We'll get into your system. They're not that much different overall, saying a little bit different bells and whistles here and there, but I would say the top 10 or 15 competing systems, our team very familiar with those, and we can help you navigate. And so you can use their existing system and most of the time still be able to do a better job than what they were doing because they weren't able to focus on it. So yeah, if you talk to some of our references, we can send you a reference list. I would say a lot of our business owners, they're like, yeah, I'm using 2 or 3 different systems. This doctor's using this one's using this one. It's not what you would, I mean, in a perfect world, you'd want everybody to use one thing that we have and that's it. But it doesn't work that way in reality. So you can still get business and you don't have to force them into anything. Let's see. I'm going to read that last one. Do we need an IT professional to provide implementation, integration, overall software support? No, you do not. That is the beauty of how we've got this set up. First of all of our systems are fully cloud-based. They run on any type of computer, any Mac, any PC. So literally, you're just logging into a secure, platform on a browser. All of our ABS has some IT personnel. All of our partners have IT support. So it's not necessary for you to get anything additional. It's very, very user-friendly software. We take care of all of there's no installing. There's nothing to install. We take care of all the updates behind the scenes. Anytime there's changes to the medical coding and different payment models, like Jason mentioned, all that stuff is taken care of for you. And we let you know what's happening with a little dashboard. When you log in, you can see exactly what's been done. Here's what's coming up. Here's when the change is going to happen. So you're always informed as to what's going on. And then I think there was one more in there. Typical startup costs to
costs.
begin the business. You want to take that one?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. So, Franz, first of all, thank you for all the great questions. You had some really good ones in here, and this is a good one as well. So, the ABS investment is 30,000 flat. That's all in, no additional investment required beyond that. But obviously, you're starting a business, so there's going to be costs to starting a business in any industry with any model. Probably the largest cost is going to be registering your entity. Typically an LLC is what our owners use. And depending on which route you go, that can be anywhere from 50 to $100 if you file the paperwork yourself, to $200 to $300 if you use LegalZoom or an attorney to prepare that for you, or CPA. It's pretty minimal. We're partnered with a marketing company for the website, and so the website design is included. It's template-based designs that you choose from, but the hosting package, publishing the website, and getting your email set up and all of that, we have a package deal that's like 200 and change for the first year. And we do recommend you use that because they can have the site live in a few days. It's all the copies already written. It's super, super easy and streamlined to get the site up. And you shouldn't spend a lot of time trying to make the greatest site that's ever been, published, for in the medical billing industry. The website is not really going to generate, clients for you in the first year, at least not the first few months. So getting the site live without spending a lot of time on it is a huge value. We assume you have a phone. We assume you have a computer. We assume you have internet access. Obviously, those would be charges if you didn't have any of that. We have a research guide document that we can send to you that goes into an extended list of other potential costs you might have, but those are the main ones. Some of the marketing strategies we teach will have a small cost to it. But again, those are all, you can choose to use those strategies or not. It's totally up to you. But great questions, Franz, and we certainly appreciate all the good ones. And Adam, are you ready to move on to the next question from Michael?
Yes, sir. Michael is asking, how do we leverage the credibility and history of ABS if we are a separate entity? Are we affiliated? Great question. And we realize the importance of building credibility and trust with the people that you're out there talking with, medical providers, office managers, people in other industries who can refer you to doctors. Credibility is huge. And so we have a couple of different approaches, a couple of different things that we teach you in training. Let me say this. One of our primary marketing methods that we've had great success with is getting referrals through networking, business networking, personal networking. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do networking. And if you've never really done it, or, anyway, we actually take it from the start, and we get very specific on, first of all, what organizations you should join to start networking with other people. Who are good, what are some good industries for people that you should meet and partner up with? For example, real estate people, realtors, CPAs, attorneys, financial planners. These are all people that work with doctors. And so if you meet them at an event, you want to get to know them. But what we do is we get very specific on what to say when it's your turn to talk to somebody. So we teach you to say, okay, my name's Michael, and I just opened up this new office here locally in the area, and we do revenue cycle management and billing and consulting for doctors. And we've been able to, save doctors thousands of dollars and put more money in their pocket. We give you all these different numbers to say to, you can use the statistics of our overall licensee base, our owner base, and you can say, I am new. Yes, I'm new here, but I'm part of a 30-year-old nationwide network of revenue cycle offices, and we've done all this good stuff for doctors all over the country, different things like that. So we get very specific on scripting for you to memorize and let people know that you're part of a bigger operation. You're not just some guy working out of your garage. Even if you are working out of the garage, they're not going to have a clue that you are, because of all the materials that we've created for you, the website and all that. The other thing I did want to mention is we also have another organization that is the certifying body for your certificate that you get. So when you finish our training, you become a CMRM, a Certified Medical Revenue Manager. So you receive this certificate, and I actually co-founded an organization called MERMA, the Medical Revenue Managers Association of America. And it has its own separate website so that if anyone ever were to look up CMRM, what is this, what is this accreditation? It points back to that organization. And so you're building up your credibility, letting people know, hey, I took the time to go through this accreditation, this course, I've graduated, and I know my stuff, and I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm talking about. So several different ways to build you up there. So hopefully that helps.
Adam, maybe we should mention also the using the books as marketing pieces, because I think a lot of people have had great success with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, we've been talking about marketing to different specialties. Jason mentioned that we show you how to market to the ones that are going to be very lucrative, cardiology, things like that. But there's also another side being, what's a good client to get when you're just starting out and you know you don't want to you want to keep it small in the beginning. If you don't really feel like you know what you're doing, you want to get your feet wet. So we actually have I don't know if you have a picture of those other ones, but this is one book that we use as a marketing tool, the 9 Ways book. There's another one called the New Thriving Medical Practice, that we can actually customize with your name as a co-author of the book. So there's a foreword in the book that we've already written, but we've written it as if it's coming from you with your name, your company name, your contact information. So this is another huge credibility builder, because we've actually had business owners hand out these books to doctors, and the doctor's like, "Hey, I read your book. It was great," and they have to go, "No, no, 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 I didn't write the book. Somebody else wrote the book. I wrote the foreword." But anyway, you get the idea. So, but what I was talking about with the specialties, we actually have 4 ebooks that we recently produced, for, I call them low-hanging fruit. I don't know if I like that term, but it's clients that are easier to meet and land, and it's typically going to be a solo practice. But they're very easy to meet because they actually do go out and do to a lot of these different medical healthcare events, their local chamber meetings, local networking meetings. And so we're talking about chiropractic, we're talking about behavioral health, we're talking about physical therapy, and we're talking about one more, and it slipped out of my brain. Which one is that other one? I don't remember.
General practitioners, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's the one. Anyway, there's 4 of them. And what's really cool is we have this webinar on our support site that talks about how to specifically find these folks, market to them. We have these ebooks that you can offer as what we call lead magnets. We show you how to set up a Zoho CRM where you can get these people that you're talking with on a drip marketing campaign and offer, send them an email. Hey, if you want to download this ebook, check it out. We also have specific marketing guides for those 4 specific marketing strategies for those specialties, is what I'm trying to say. And so if you meet let's just say a chiropractor, you can go and download this marketing guide that's specifically for how do I get a chiropractor's attention? How do I market to them specifically? So a lot of good stuff, guys. A lot of good stuff that we put together to help you.
Yeah. Great. And thank you for the question, Michael. I'll take this next question from Scott. Scott is asking, do you provide backup billing contractors we can scale with, and will they be available to cover when my contracted billers are out sick or on vacation? Scott, absolutely. We have a partnership with a medical biller staffing company, and they are awesome. So we can help you scale your business. We can provide temporary solutions. We can help you put together a full team to manage your operations. And it's a plug and play environment, and it's very cost effective. So we can dive into more detail on that if you want to chat with your rep. But I would say that is an area that we shine, and we haven't always had that. It's you probably heard people say, business owners, it's hard to find good help, right? And I think these days even more so. It's like, nobody wants to work, right? Or they're just unreliable. So it took a long time for us to find a partner that could actually deliver really high quality staffing, and we've got it, and we get rave reviews. So yes, we are there to help you scale your business, and we've had some folks scale massive businesses.
And those contractors that we have, they don't get sick.
Right.
No, I mean, what I mean is if one of them were to get sick, they have thousands of others that could help out, step in and help out. So you're never left hanging with that service.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, great question, and a really awesome aspect to our offering. So thank you, Scott. You want to take this question from Gus, Adam?
Yeah, Gus was asking, do you have someone who's selling their business that's ready and running already? I get that question a lot, Gus, and it's extremely rare that we even hear about any of our owners that are selling. Now, of course, there are people who want to build up a big business, sell it, move on to something else. There are people who want to build up this business and pass it on to family. But we just don't really have a way to facilitate that market. So my recommendation would be, there are online sources. I think BizBuySell, and there may be some other ones that people selling their business post up on, as well as we do have a private Facebook group that you can join once you graduate. And I know that people communicate through that site. And I'm sure there have been people that have contracted and sold specific clients back and forth, different things like that. So there is some possibility there, but we really just don't facilitate that. So
yeah, absolutely. We've got follow-up, not exactly a question, but Francine Glide came back and provided a lot of additional detail on her personal situation. Rather than try to get into this on the live webinar, Francine Glide, I'd encourage you to reach out to your ABS rep. You do have a bit of a unique situation, and let's actually talk through that and make sure that we would be a good fit for you. So whichever rep sent you the invitation for this webinar, you can reply to that email and your rep will set up a time to chat with you. If you can't find your rep, you can always go directly to our toll-free line, which I'll show here in a few minutes, or you can send an email to info@absystems.com. But we'll dig into the scenario and we'll make sure it's a good fit. So appreciate you joining the webinar today. We probably have time for one more question. Adam, do you want to take Scott's follow-up question there?
Sure. Yeah. Scott's asking, which types of insurance coverage do you recommend for a medical billing startup? Great question. So in training, we will teach you that there are some different types of insurances that you can opt to purchase or not. It is not a requirement. I would say the primary insurance coverage would be errors and omissions, E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance. You can get it through most carriers. It covers some basics, but that being said, your liability is very limited the way that we have you set up this business. First of all, if you set up as an LLC, obviously that helps, but A lot of the technical aspect of, managing the software, the HIPAA compliancy is all taken care of for you. So there's a lot of, things that we are handling behind the scenes that just help, limit any kind of liability that you might have. There's some licensees get that, some decide they don't need it. I would say if your business starts to grow to a certain point, that you would probably want to invest in that. I don't think it's very expensive, maybe $600, $700, $800 a year or something like that. And then there are some that do get general liability when they get to the point of, okay, now I've got this office and I've got this staff and I've got this and all this other stuff. So you want to have something in place there when that happens. But as far as, just working from home, that's it. You don't really need all that. So,
Yep. Simple E&O policy. It's inexpensive. That's about all that's necessary. And you really don't even have to do that until you get clients. It's not a litigious industry. Worst case scenario, a claim gets rejected. Well, just correct it and refile it. There's no financial liability or anything. So, that brings us to the end of the Q&A section. We really appreciate everybody's great questions. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. Some of you may be very close to the end of your due diligence journey. And like we said before, we're really serious about making sure that our new owners are a good fit for this industry, just like you're trying to determine if American Business Systems is a good fit for you. We have a lot of steps and tools and resources to help you determine if American Business Systems is going to work for you. If you have not gotten your hands on our research guide, it's a 65-page PDF. It's a great one. If you haven't seen it or you don't know what I'm talking about, email your rep or respond to any email that you've gotten from ABS, and we'll get that research guide PDF to you. We've got an awesome YouTube channel. We record all of these webinars. We post them on our YouTube channel each and every week. So there's literally thousands of hours of content there. All you can eat buffet. We do have an owner's reference list. We've got some awesome owners, some of them extremely successful, and they volunteered to take calls and questions, and we can give you that list. So again, reach out to your rep if you'd like a reference list. We also offer a live software demo. I would say that's a really important step to take. So if you're getting close to making a decision with American Business Systems, you think you're going to launch your business with us, but you haven't had a software demo, definitely check with your rep and schedule a time to do that, because it's very insightful.